insane attention to it, but it's still a little fun little thing to do.
Prism.
Yeah, because OBS was being a piece of shit to me. So upcoming. Why does it say upcoming? It should be live.
There we go.
Now we're live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Is it? Yeah. Talking to it.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll be fucking around sharing it a little bit. All right, let's record.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for
And
having me out here.
We are live. Miki Janosi, welcome to my humble abode.
Thanks for having me, Ali.
Hell yeah. Did you have issues finding the place?
No. It was funny because like I literally live like 5 minutes from here, so it was pretty easy.
Fuck yeah.
I'd
feel horrible if you had to drive more than like 15 minutes to get here.
Nah, dude.
You know?
This is a very easy place to get to.
That is my automatic feeder going off in the background. If it even picks up on the microphone. Yeah, you record a voice and then set a time and the amount, and then there you have it. I don't even know if the listeners heard that.
It sounded like people getting shot in Gaza every time your cat gets fed.
Right. Hold on. The chat is already going. This is crazy. Is this the Riz podcast? Sure. Why the fuck not? Welcome to the Riz podcast. Teach me how to Riz. All right. I'm not going to get too crazy with the fucking chat immediately. We just started. My good new buddy, I would call you. I've only known you, a couple months maybe?
Yeah. You've been one of my first friends that I moved here.
Hell yeah.
To talk to. Yeah, you've been super chill. I mean, honestly, everybody's been nice.
Everybody's been nice? Shut up. You're lying now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any. I also talk to only open micers. So
okay.
All open micers
right.
are pretty
you calling
chill.
me an open mic? No, I'm kidding. I kind of am. I mean, I'm whatever. I do open mics, so it is what it is.
But that's been the majority of the people that I've been interacting with are basically everyone in the same.
Yeah, you have to be
me.
nice. It's just like if I'm going to get anywhere in this fucked up business, how am I going to be an asshole? I've said this rule on here before. I think I've told it to you before, and I'm sure you know it. The dynamic of funny to asshole. It's like if you're going to be an asshole, you better be fucking vicious on stage. Like you better be a world beater. If you're going to suck, you better be a fucking sweetheart. You better be the person your dog thinks you are if you suck at comedy and you're going to go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then if you're a dick, it's like fair enough, but you better just crush on stage.
You have to kill every single time.
Yeah, or exactly. And then just there's middle of the road people. Like we all have our moods. You're not gonna fucking Michael Jordan every set. We all have our off nights, or we bomb. Why the fuck they're doing it again? That's ridiculous.
What is the voice?
It's me saying it's time to eat, bitches. That's what I said, and then it repeats it twice, and I have it set like a minute apart for some reason. We should do some prank calls. What is this? The fucking Jerky Boys circa 1999? That's not a terrible idea, though.
I was going to say, I definitely would. We would have to call West Coast places, though.
Yeah, fuck it. Wake people up in New York. I don't give a shit. No, dude, prank calls were the shit back in the day. That's a lost art form. I used to do this thing on stage where I would call... There was this thing called the Raven chat lines, and it was just basically party lines is what they were called. And you could just navigate through different cities, and it's just a bunch of people trying to get pussy or trying to fight each other. So, like, it was like 10 dudes for every, like, one chick. So, dudes immediately be like, what you doing, girl? Where you at? And then a dude would be like, hey, man, fuck you. I'm talking, man, fuck you. Where you at? And then you just argue and threaten to meet up with each other. So, I used to do this bit about my buddy who was, like, the best roaster. And I used to just tell stories of him roasting people. And I'd be like, fuck it, let's try it right now. Watch how quickly I can get someone to want to kill me. Say a city, and people would say, like, Baltimore or whatever. And we'd call the Baltimore Raven, and I would navigate through the rooms and just be like, shut up. And then someone would be like, fuck you. And then when it wouldn't go right, it would just be dumb, and I would just, end the conversation. But when it killed, it was very fucking fun to do.
Yeah, I can only imagine just, like, people, you could just go on there and just be like, yeah, the Ravens suck ass, and then just...
Oh, yeah, dude, I used to go on Yahoo fucking Maps. This is how long ago I mean, before my, way before I started stand-up. Like, I used to go on, like, Yahoo Maps and look for real cross streets in, like, Tampa Bay, Florida, and be like, "Meet me here," and I would name out businesses, and they would be like, "All right, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm coming," and shit. And it was just like I probably got an innocent person injured or killed. There was someone that was just there, and they're like, "This has to be the guy," and they got fucked up for it.
Just some guy trying to go to a rub and tug, and all of a sudden he's getting the shit beat out of him in
Oh my
Tampa.
god, that is crazy. Okay, does he know he's not leaving the podcast alive? You got big cats to feed them. I mean, the biggest cat is staring us down right now, so I think he's not stupid. So I think he has an idea.
Supposedly, when you die, like if you have an animal, if you have a dog and you die, and your dog is there and it's starving, it's gonna like start eating at your like feet and hands first, like away from your face. If it's like
And then
starving,
cats go right to the head.
cats go right for the face.
I've heard that dogs like will wait as long as they need to actually eat you.
Yeah,
But cats immediately will just start going. Cats will, you could be sleeping and your cats might try to fucking eat you.
yeah,
If
dude.
you're just like hungover or you just did a bunch of drugs and you're sleeping for 3 days, they might be like, "All right, he hasn't fed us in like 40 hours. Let's time to fucking bite him and just see how he tastes."
Time to claw out his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a cat dude. I don't know. When it comes to cats and dogs, here's what I've come to find out. A lot of dog people fucking hate cats, but I've never met a cat person that hates dogs. It only goes one way. And then people, I get it. Dogs are loving. They're fucking loyal. And people want to say dogs are smarter, and I call bullshit. I say dogs are just more
Absolutely
obedient.
not.
They're more obedient.
100%.
I think dogs are dumber from the shit that I've never seen a cat eat its own shit or like eat poop out of the fucking litter box or bark at the same mailman for 11 fucking years. They're just like, "Oh, that's the guy that you know what I mean?" Dogs have a lot of idiotic behavior in comparison.
Well, absolutely. That's like why you can see a stray cat and you could be like, okay, that cat can still survive on its own. Like some cats choose to be stray. You know, it's kind of like how like
Right.
some homeless people in Austin choose to be homeless. Like there's definitely homeless
100%.
people around like the US and it's not a choice and they're like really struggling, but there are definitely homeless people in Austin that love the fucking lifestyle, dude.
Bro.
They want to be homeless. They love nothing more than just going out and fucking like freaking people out.
It's not that bad of a fucking life if it like I mean it is and
It's
it
true
isn't.
freedom.
Let's say you've been there, done that. You had 2 failed marriages. You used to be a CEO of a company. I'm not just talking about someone that was just a straight up loser the whole time. They've been there, they've done that. They're in their 50s now. They started a little habit and they're just like I can just no bills, no nagging wife, no fucking kids, no responsibilities. I can panhandle enough just to get my fix and live seasonally in different areas.
I mean, this is also the easiest time in history to be homeless.
100%, dude.
You have a phone, you can be homeless. Like you could go shower in the fucking like gym. You just got to get like a
I mean,
what,
as
like a
long
Planet
as you
Fitness membership or
if you
something?
can conjure up like $200 a month as a homeless person, you're kind of set. It
Yeah.
doesn't take that much. 24 bucks a month or 10 bucks a month at Planet Fitness if you only stick to one location. It's 25 if you get the black card where you get to go everywhere. But I
If you're
remember
a traveling homeless man.
oh my god. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, like maybe like 10 years old, there used to be a park in Tucson, Arizona called I think it was Himmel Park, but we called it Bum Park because if you drove there on a Saturday afternoon, it was just dozens of homeless people sprawled out just laying around and my dad used to call it Bum Park. And one day he was almost like romanticizing. Basically what I just told you right now is
Yeah.
like look at them. No job, no bills, no wife, no kids. And he like exhaled like and I was like, dude, is that what you want? Like, what the fuck, dude? And I've thought about that and I'm like, it's not the worst thing. It's probably better than jail, probably better than being in a marriage that you hate. Like,
Your entire life is just like a quest. You just go and like fucking try to scavenge. I mean, it's almost like you're going back to your roots, like of being like a hunter gatherer, but
yeah, but
you're like a
it's
swindler.
instead it's for fentanyl and copper
Yeah,
instead.
dude, you go hunt for fentanyl and you gather copper.
Yo, Bonghole, what up? Everyone like and subscribe. It gets the algorithm moving and shaking. I'm going to share this to Instagram right now so we can
Yeah,
get some
if
eyeballs
you
in here. So
send it to me or tag me or
here's what I
whatever, and
do. So I'll do this right here. I'll copy the link. I'll screenshot it, and then I'll tag you in it, and then we'll send it off to the socials. So let the listeners know a little bit more about you. You're eating BBQ Doritos. Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah, dude.
So where are you from?
I'm from originally from Akron. So Akron,
Akron. I know.
I went to the same school as LeBron James.
Really?
Yeah, but he was like,
You know, Steph Curry and LeBron were born in the same hospital in Akron. Or
I did not know they were. I know that Steph Curry is also from Akron.
no, they were born in the same fucking hospital, dude.
Probably like Akron General.
Probably. Isn't that crazy? That I was just like, whoa, what are the chances of that? This might be before your time, but I know a comedian from Arizona, from Akron. His name was Clayton Perkins. Black dude. He's been doing comedy longer than me, even. Probably well into his 40s now. But yeah, he used to always open to say, he's like, I'm from Akron, Ohio. And he was really funny. But he might be the only Akron comic besides you I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's not too many of us. I started at a place called the Funny Stop, which was
Funny Stop.
Yeah, dude. It was this place.
Dude, comedy clubs have the lamest names ever. The Ha Ha Room. I started at
Yeah.
Laughs. It's like, wow. Like, what? How'd you guys think of that? How creative.
It's also like, not only is it like the terrible name, but then you walk inside and it's just like the tackiest fucking place you've ever been in.
Oh my
Just
god.
Just
it's like
pictures
it's like
on the
Groucho
wall.
Marx on the wall tap dancing and shit. It's like, this is so gay.
Just like next to like the disgruntled clown and shit, and you're just watching just decades of people whose dreams have been decimated over time, just road dog after road dog. It's but yeah,
Tim Allen showed up one time in 1987, and that's their claim
there's
to
literally
fame.
a picture of Tim Allen there.
35 years later, that's the biggest thing that's ever happened there, and it's like a black and white photo, and it's just like, okay, that's cool, but like, come on, like.
The club owner said that that was the club that Tim Allen got the call that he was going to get Home Improvement.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, I mean, my home club has photo like Tim Allen's on the wall there. I'm not like, I love that club, but I'm just,
Same here. Big fan of the Funny Stop.
He got that. What he was like, was he there and they called him as he on what? Like the fucking what had to have been like 1987. Like they called. He didn't have a fucking. We know he didn't have a cell phone. Unless he had one of those big 80s ones that you held like a fucking baby.
Probably, dude. I mean, he was selling coke and shit back then. So
right.
He probably did have like a Miami-style fucking giant block cell phone. But the owner was this guy, Pete, who he's dead now, rest in peace. But he was like this Lebanese guy who would constantly heckle all of the comics, and he was so fucking mean.
That's awesome.
You just be on stage and you'd be like, "Get off the stage, you suck, you're gay." Just constantly. And he was always talking about how you had to be clean, but then he would cuss all the fucking time.
Oh my god.
But it was not like clean. Like clean to him was just like not saying fuck. Like I remember it was like amateur night or whatever, and you're supposed to do 5 minutes clean or whatever. And there was this one comic who had this bit, I forget what his name is, but he had this bit about like killing rabbits and stuffing them into tubes and fucking them like fleshlights.
Wow.
And he just didn't cuss at all, and it was like considered a clean set. Like that was how low the bar was for clean at the Funny Stop.
That reminds me of this dude. I can't even repeat the fucking things this guy used to say in Tucson, who was the owner of this pizza shop. It was like JB's Pizza or something. I don't even JP's Pizza or something. And he was this Italian dude who was hammered all the time. And I remember, what the fuck happened? He would go on stage and do his shit, and it was an abomination of just racial slurs and just no punchlines. And he would sit in the audience. And then I remember I was on stage and I said faggot or something. And I was like, oh no, another comic said faggot and like, oh, I can't say that. And I was like, bullshit, you should have heard Mike said. I was like, he was dropping the N-word, he was talking about rape, and then he just starts chanting the N-word, faggot, and rape over and over again as he slammed his hands on the table. And I remember I was laughing so hard that I almost puked. It was just, but everyone else was horrified. I was like, this dude is a fucking maniac.
Isn't it? It is so funny that comedy is like the only performance where just insane people can join at any point in time.
Oh yeah, 100%. There used to be a homeless dude named Midnight there was an open mic in Tucson called Mr. Heads. It's a legendary place. Doug Stanhope used to show up and just crash the open mic and host and do all kinds of shit. But there was a dude. We'd give him water. I'd give him weed. He'd sit on a stool and he would howl with laughter at even the worst comedians. And the worst thing that ever happened was he started doing comedy.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you're like the fun homeless dude that we give food to and you cheer us on. And anytime we're bombing, you at least laugh. And now you're doing comedy? Like, what the fuck, dude? And after like 6 months, I hated him. I was just like, he does the same fucking jokes. He bombs every time. Like, I missed the old Midnight that was just a lunatic homeless dude who would only laugh and that's it.
Yeah. It's kind of like Sousa.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Dr. Sousa, who's my
Just
favorite.
a fucking lunatic.
She's my favorite comic.
Yeah. But like, just, it's so crazy when she's not at Anderson Mill versus when she is. It's just a completely like change in mood and energy and everything.
I just lean into it because last time I did Anderson Miller a couple times ago, she was there. And for some reason, she actually was behaving herself, but I went at her, which is the opposite of what usually happens. Because I'm just like, I know I'm not going to be able to get through even a fucking premise without her yelling and cheering in a sarcastic, weird tone or interrupting me. So I just spent like half my set just roasting her and like talking to her. And then she was, for some reason, in not a wild mood that night. But yeah, dude, she's the only comic I've seen get banned from pretty much every room. Except for Anderson Mill.
I feel like it's definitely not something you want at like an actual show, but I do feel like there is a need for that, just like crazy energy. Like, you know,
For
like,
open mics, fuck yeah.
yeah, you gotta have that just like fucking insanity where it's just like people screaming. Like, you gotta get that energy out somewhere. And it's like, where else but an open mic?
100%.
Are you gonna be able to do all that shit?
Yeah, so Mr. Tramps up the street. Have you ever seen Mr. Tramps? It's a bar. We could walk there in 4 minutes. It's very fun. It's right next to that Target. All those Chinese restaurants right there. It's like in the same parking lot. It's a legendary place where they've been doing open mics and showcases on and off since like 2005 or something like that. Like way before I even started comedy or before I lived here. There's stories of like Bert Kreischer and Ari Shafir because Cap City used to be right there. You've seen that VIP event center right there? That was Cap City.
Really?
That building was literally Cap City up until 2020, and they closed down. And then the sign, even when I moved here in 2021, the sign said Cap City up until like 2 years ago.
No
And
shit.
so they used to come and do shows at Mr. Tramps afterwards. So in 2023, I ran a mic at Mr. Tramps for like 4 months maybe until they didn't want to pay. They just got a pain in my ass, and then the sound equipment kept getting worse, and I slowly but surely was bringing my own equipment there, and I was just tired of it. And it was mostly comics. There would be like 16 comics. It would be a miracle if we had 5 audience members. So whenever there'd be like a heckler, I fucking loved it. I remember there was these 2 crazy people that showed up one time. They didn't know each other and they started bonding over their heckling. And I remember one of the dudes said he was hungry, and the other woman who didn't know him pulled chicken nuggets out of her pocket and started giving them to him. And I was like, this is a gift from God right now.
It's just a bonding moment.
Yeah. So if you have a well-run ship and it's a good room and there's actual audience members, yeah, you don't want chaos. Even then, a little heckling is fine, so you can work that muscle. But like at a place like Mr. Tramps, where it's just you talking to 10 other comics in an mostly or an entirely empty room, I thought that was the greatest thing for open micers to deal with.
Absolutely, because one, you got to learn how to deal with hecklers. Like, there's no avoiding it. You're always going to have, like, even if you just do, like, really nice clubs or something, you're eventually going to get to a spot where, like, you're in butt-fuck nowhere, and those people are heckling you. You want to be, like, prepared and, like, already have that learned. And then it's, like, at an open mic, what else is there? Just a bunch of comics reading their notes while everyone else stares at their phone and does not pay attention.
100%.
It's so, you need some fucking insanity to just like bring some energy into the room and keep people going.
Yeah, and what better place to learn that than at like a real show or like at a fucking comedy club? So if you built that muscle up a little bit, then you can kind of quickly handle it.
You know who's really good at that is Dave Attell.
Dave Attell,
I've
yeah.
always said,
Maybe move the mic a little bit closer because I think
oh, my bad.
I think I'm a little louder than you.
Yeah. Dave Attell, I think, is our generation's Rodney Dangerfield
Okay.
because he
It's
has
just rapid fire
he has
jokes.
rapid fire jokes, but like him and Rodney both had this thing where like they didn't like tell people, oh, you can't heckle or anything. People would constantly yell out at them, and then he just has something lined up in his pocket and he just shoots it right back.
Yeah.
And it's like they handle hecklers with such class that it's like unmatched.
Right. Did you ever? How long you been doing comedy again?
It's gonna be 9 years in March.
Okay. You might not know this guy. There was a guy named Brian Bradley. Do you know who he is?
No.
He died like 4 years ago or like 3 years ago, but he had an interesting act because he was an actor and he like did Second City with like Robin Williams was his claim to fame. Like he was in his like by the time he died, he had to have been 70 or something. But I met him when I first started and he used to do like at least an hour and he'd make the club turn the lights up so he could see everybody. And he would do like half improv, half stand up, but he was actually a really good stand up because I'm not a big fan of like improv, but he was
Right.
able to like mold both things together. And he'd have like shit where it was like a conversational thing with the crowd, but he had a set punchline. But if they said something crazy, he could go somewhere else with it. So I'd watch him like do the same shit with like different punchlines. And he was the best at like handling hecklers that I've ever fucking seen in my life to where I remember he did this one thing that I've kind of stolen it from him because it was just like, if someone says something funny in the crowd,
Mhm.
I remember he just went, fuck you for being funnier than me. And that's such a good way to handle hecklers because especially if they're not being malicious, if they're just being
Yeah.
loud and having fun. And if they say something that gets a laugh and you say, fuck you for being funnier than me, everybody laughs, they feel good, and they kind of chill out after that. They don't
Yeah.
feel the need to continue going.
Well, there is an art to heckling. Like there's a difference between like heckling and being disruptive. Like if there's a pause in somebody's set and you have like something funny to say out, I mean, I've definitely seen people lose their fucking minds over it, but like as
Right.
an audience member, it is enjoyable to watch. Versus like if you're trying to like talk and do a premise or something and then someone keeps interrupting you over and over again and just like drunkenly rambling. Like that's the worst. But
100%. Yeah, if they keep going. Sorry about the couch. A fat ass comedian broke that part of the couch. I know you're sinking in.
oh, you're good.
I've learned when it comes. I'm not like the best at it, but I've learned when it comes to like maybe riffing in general. But I think kind of crowd work, but more of just like retorting back to a heckler or someone interrupting is to not hesitate. Saying something as fast as possible shows just a weird confidence that people think what you're saying is funnier than it is because you're not up there like waiting.
Yeah.
So quickness and timing. And then I learned from Joey Diaz as well. He's like, if you don't have something to say right away, and if they're being real chatty, let them talk because two things happen. The rest of the crowd starts to hate that person more because now they're being really disruptive. So now they're more on the comic side. They're against that person. So whatever you say, they're going to agree with you. And you can load up on insults and things that you can say right back to them because like, oh, they've been going for like 10 seconds now. I have like, you look like this, like, and you have like 4 things that you can say to them afterward.
And they also make themselves look dumber.
Yeah.
Because like the longer they talk, the worse they're gonna start sounding, and the more fucking retarded they're gonna sound.
100%.
Once they're like try to like explain themselves more and more.
I've told this story on the podcast a couple times. I've never told you about this. So I opened for Joey Diaz on the day that Donald Trump got inaugurated in like 2017.
Okay.
So it was whatever that date was, January of 2017. Late show Saturday. So I have to explain that there was something called the March for Women or the Women's March. They were all over the country because people were pissed Trump got, won the presidency. And for some reason it was like women, had to march for women's rights exclusively, to go against Donald Trump. There was a huge one in Phoenix. I'm talking like, I don't know if it was tens of thousands of people, but it was like near where we were performing. There was a bunch of people in the street earlier in the day.
Ironic. Phoenix in 2017 having a women's march.
Dude. So that night, I forget the joke. Joey Diaz pissed off some woman in the crowd. And this is a fucking sold out room. And when people go to a Joey Diaz show, it's 95% people that are there because they love him. So there's not a lot of disruption and craziness like you will get at a fucking, at a loony bins or a B club or whatever, because then they're fans. But this woman, I don't know where the fuck she came from. She just went off and was just screaming and wouldn't shut up. And he let her go for like what felt like 30 seconds, and people are kind of starting to tell her to shut the fuck up and boo her. And he's just like, "No," and she keeps going, and then he goes, "I thought I told you guys to leave her at the fucking march," and it just like 500 people all scream laughing, followed by clapter at the same time, and she got up and left on her own. I was like, that was handled so brilliantly, because he didn't have to like go crazy or get creative. He let her dig herself a hole, said one fucking line relevant to that day, and then boom, it was done. I was like, that was crazy.
That's awesome. One of the best people I've seen that dealt with a heckler is TJ Miller used to go to the Funny Stop a lot. He liked Pete and they had like a good relationship. And he I think it was either 2020, 2019, somewhere in that time frame, and he was dealing with a heckler because it's a smaller club. It's like a 150 seat room. It's like a B club as well. And this person just kept heckling him, and he just like kept coming back with witty comebacks and destroying them. And they ended up getting up and leaving.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, hey, did they end up paying their tab?" And then the server was like,
God.
"No." And he's like, "Don't worry, I got it." He picked up the tab, tipped the server well, and it was just like, man, to like not only take care of the heckler like that, but then like to show like class. I mean, dude, everyone fucking loved him. I mean, TJ is a killer. He's
I met him in Houston a couple years ago, at the Secret Group. Have you heard of that place?
I've heard nothing but great things about
It's
that
a
place.
great room. I did like 5 shows, but it was like Thursday and then 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. It's not like a club thing. It's just like showcases. I think a couple of the shows only did like 7 minutes, but he showed up at the midnight Saturday and went up at like 2 in the morning and did like 10 minutes. He was like, it was kind of crazy. I was like, he's not even.
Yeah, dude, he's one of those comics where he'll do the clubs and then he'll do like the shows afterwards.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
I got to open for him this year at Hilarities, and super nice guy, really cool dude. And then like afterwards, I have a friend group that they run shows in Cleveland called the Secret Society Comedy Group. I feel like all these there's been so many secret comedy shows I've seen like just like popping up within the last 5 years. But they run a really good room. But like he'll go and he did like the club and he like sold out the entire weekend, and then he'll go and he'll do like a 30 to 50 seat room and just like fuck around basically for 10 minutes, and it'll still be like just ridiculously good.
Yeah, fucking Mark Norman is like that.
Yeah, he'll go and he'll fucking do a theater, and then he'll go and do like a small room afterwards.
And he comes and like, I've seen him in Austin do it several times. Like I was there and he just showed up and I was like, I wouldn't even be mad at him if he did it, but I was like, oh, Mark Norman's about to hit us with like 30 minutes. He does like 11 minutes, murders with new shit, and then leaves, and that's it. I'm like, well, okay, respect,
Yeah. Do you think you would be doing that too if you were selling out like a weekend and
Maybe.
everything? Like,
I don't know. I've always said open mics and just like smaller showcases are still like the best way to like work out new jokes, no matter who you are, in my opinion. So if I was ever like selling out a fucking theater or something, I probably would be pretty big on the people are there to see me side of things. So it's like, am I getting a true honest gauge of everything that's funny or not? Probably not. So I learned that from Doug Stanhope. He would chase bombs all the time. He'd come to Tucson looking to bomb. I mean, he didn't really want to bomb, but if he bombed, he liked it because he's like, I know this isn't fucking funny. Because he'd show up at a dive bar on a Tuesday night in Tucson where the comedians are like, holy fuck, it's like one of the goats are here. A 37-year-old fucking depressed fat white woman drinking Paps at a fucking dive bar in Tucson doesn't know and doesn't give a fuck about Doug Stanhope. So I watched him run this bit that ended up being on one of his specials, and it turned it into like a 25-minute argument about women's rights where Doug was just, he was so cool with letting her insult him and yell back, and he would just hit her with something funny and we'd laugh, but he just argued, his whole set was arguing with the woman. And afterward he was like, that was great. I'm just like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I feel like there's a level of comfort you got to be with yourself as a performer to just like to know that like it's gonna happen. Like you're not like you said, like chasing the bomb, but like you're chasing those opportunities to be able to write something new. I don't know if it's like
Right,
as
right.
much of like chasing the bomb as like you're just like you know it's good that you're bombing because that means that you're trying something versus like
I've
it's very easy to become repetitive and like start doing like the same material over and over
yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
which I actually really like about coming down here, even though this whole place has been like a reset for me. But it has been good because I feel like I am writing more and I'm back, even though I'm back to doing like open mics and stuff. I kind of steered away from that in Cleveland because I got comfortable because I didn't really need to do them as much. Like I would do them if I wanted to, but then I would end up just like kind of like hanging out with my girlfriend, staying home, and then like if I got like a weekend, I would just do that instead
Yeah, instead of work.
versus like going out every single night and trying some new shit and like
There's a weird balance, and I think you need bursts and like sometimes it's good to go crazy. And like I did 8 open mics this week, and then the other times it's like it's good just to fucking like stay away from it for a little bit and just work on, you know,
living your life as a
living your actual
normal human being.
100%. Yeah, because that's the balance between like if you're like 23 and you've been doing comedy for a year, I say live with 3 other dudes and do 14 sets a fucking week and just go for it for at least a couple years. But like after you've been doing comedy, I say like I feel like the 7 years is a special year for comics. I've learned a lot of the comics I've met and what I experienced. It took me about 9 to really like okay, I'm figuring things out. But you don't need to just slave away at open mics. Some people think that just doing spots alone is going to just automatically make you the best comedian possible. And I feel like that there's a balance. Sometimes you need to like stray away from only doing that.
Well, yeah, and then when you start thinking about like what comedy actually is, dude, there was this comic that he was kind of in a way when I first started a bit of a mentor to me. His name's John Bruton, and he told me something that like stuck with me. I was probably like less than a year in, and I was just talking about like how I really just want to be like the funniest person I can be and like being like as just as witty and like well written. And he was like, man, the crazy thing about comedy is comedy's not even about being funny. And like that shit
Mm-hmm.
blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean that it's not? But then like you start seeing the people that rise to like a level of success, and then you see them and you're like, man, this I don't even find this guy funny. And then you'll talk to people and they're like, I don't really find, but they're like charismatic, they're really good at marketing, and they're
Yes.
really good at
There's like
networking.
5 boxes you have to check. Like, being funny helps. I mean, it's not, but the thing is, only being funny and that's it. It's good fucking luck getting anywhere. But you can check like 3 other boxes and not even be that funny and go way further than the funnier person.
Yeah.
You know? So it's good to be funny and then, have a little bit going on in the other categories. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I always tell people this. I say life isn't fair, so why the fuck would comedy be fair? Try to fall in love with it, as gay as that sounds. So if you're having fun and you're really enjoying it, if you don't get to where you want to go, where's the loss if you're really actually enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely true, but it is the balance though that you were talking about because like there was this one comic uh in Cleveland, and he would do like literally like 10 to 15 open mics every single week, but he wouldn't get passed at any like clubs or anything, and he grew with this just hatred that you would see
Oh
because
my
he would like
god.
he would sit he would sit at hilarities in the back by himself, dude, like looking like the fucking Joker, just like you could just tell he was just like
Did
back
you ever
there.
feel in danger that he would do something violent?
No, but there were
There's been a couple comics over my years doing comedy. There was a couple times where we were like afraid. There was 2, I won't even say their names, but there was 2 comics where we're like, if this person shoots up a fucking open mic or like kills a booker, I swear to God, I will not be surprised.
yeah.
Like there's a couple of those. There was one in both in Arizona, but it got kind of scary when I would see like they were there, and they'd have a backpack. I would just be like, can someone check their bag before they go inside? Like it was serious.
Just ready to end it all. Could you imagine a worse reason to create to do a mass shooting
I know.
than open mic comedy?
Oh my god, yeah, it's just like my cat rape joke has been murdering every room, and I can't even get a 5-minute guest spot, and then they just go fucking absolutely postal. Comedy is so stupid, dude. Like, this shit's only important to us. Like, if you really think about people with actual legitimate careers,
Or insane people. Who do you think's more insane? Comedians or comedy fans?
I say comedians, but that's fucking close.
Dude, I don't know. Comedy fans, like,
I mean, if
have you ever sat at a showcase and you're watching it and it's one that you're on and you're like,
it depends on the level of.
does anyone sit through this?
Oh my god, dude, that's why I hate that there's so many like showcases that are marketed pretty well to the point where they get a lot of people there, and then there's 12 comics on the fucking show. And I was like, you know what they're gonna do when they see a show like this? They're gonna be like, we're just gonna wait for Russell Peters to come to the fucking HEB Center and leave it at that. We're not going out to local comedy anymore if this is what we're getting. To get crowd worked by a fucking dude who, you know, I almost said someone's name, but I won't. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
a dry 24-year-old white guy.
right. And the thing though is that there's a reason that the format of a basic comedy show has stood the test of time for at least 40 years, where it's like opener, maybe a guest spot, feature, headliner. Because if usually the headliner is going to land the fucking plane and it's a good show, but when you have 12 3 to 7 year in comics on some weird bizarro showcase, there's a good chance on a tough night where people were barked into the show where it's not going to go well, and people are like, yikes, I don't want to. Even if 3 comics murdered, 7 ate shit. If you watched a movie and 70% of it was dog shit, what are you gonna? It's a bad movie. Like,
dude, there was one club that I went to here because I was trying to or a room, and I was trying to like get in because I'm just trying to like network with people and like get
right.
And then yeah, dude, there was probably, I'm guessing, 15 to 17 comics on this showcase. And I was just like, this is basically an open mic at this point.
Oh,
in time.
fuck yeah.
And it was just like, they're all doing 4 minutes. And I swear to God, like 10 of them were the same exact person over
and
over
I've
again.
said this so many times in person and even on this podcast.
It got to the point where it's like,
it's different versions of the same person.
Yeah. It, like finally, like one black guy got on stage, and I was like, "Thank God, dude! I cannot listen to another dry one-liner."
Oh my God!
23-year-old that's just like trying to work in his rape bit, like.
Yeah, dude, there's a particular open mic, and I love the host of this mic, and I like the mic. I haven't done it a lot lately, but they post every comic on their stories, so you can go through and just see like. Every 5 minutes, it's updated with the comic and their handle. One day, I thought I was like, am I tripping on drugs? It was the same comic over and over, and I looked back and it wasn't. But I was like, these dudes might as well be the same fucking person. They have the same hair, they have the same stupid look on their face. Like, how the fuck is this 7 different people? It's mind blowing.
They're all like holding the microphone like this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what is this person saying? In Austin, even homeless do open mics has really lowered the quality of funny. Dude, I have like 17 bits about homeless people doing comedy in Austin. You know, there's a difference. There's like living in your car homeless, and then there's like legitimately like I overdosed on fentanyl behind Sunset Strip, and I don't even have a pair of shoes to my name doing comedy at this point.
Yeah, the second guy's hilarious.
Dude. Try following like a toothless fentanyl junkie who just says it. Dude, there was some homeless dude who came up to me at Maggie Mae's, and he was just like, "Y'all hiring?" And I was just like, "I don't think so." Like, this dude, he had a cyst the size of a fucking softball on his shoulder too, or like on his neck, like. And I was just like, "Okay, whatever."
It's like a goiter.
And then I swear to God, it was. And he's just like, "You ever seen the movie Roadhouse?" And I was just like, "Yep." And he's like, "I taught him everything he knows." And he went on this spiel about how he taught Patrick Swayze everything he knows. And then he told me, he's like, if you need people to get kicked out, come to me and I'll help you. And then, I mean, the shit, I was dying laughing.
Not a bad person to get people kicked out. Like, he
Bro,
just goes up
the
and
smell alone will clear a fucking building. But yeah, he was just like, when the lights go on, I drag him out. I'll tell him, give me $10,000. And he was just getting crazy. And I was like, oh, I got to go inside. My boss needs me. I think I might have tried something about that
You
on
should have
stage.
just got like a pin and just popped his goiter and just watched it like slowly.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
it would like he would be like a balloon and he would just like fly around the room and then just like fly out the door.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, there was something else that came to mind that I forgot right now about the homeless doing open mics. What did the chat say?
It is insane the amount of people that come to live out of their
Oh,
car in
that's what I
Austin.
was getting at. So I actually pissed off a comedian saying this because they lived in their car. It was at the same mic that I was talking about where you fish topics out of a bucket. And I
Mhm.
it was something about the weather or something. I was like, if you are a stand-up comedian or you're aspiring to be one and you move to Austin to live in your fucking car, you have room temperature IQ because go to fucking LA. You live in your car. Why the fuck would you want to live in this humidity and sweat underneath a fucking bridge that smells like bum urine when you have the freedom to go live in basically in any city? I know there's some obstacles, but if you're going to live in your fucking car and you live in Austin and you're pursuing comedy, you're a fucking lunatic.
Absolutely.
Just go to LA. Like, what are you doing? Best weather in the country.
You should go to Hawaii if anything. And
Well,
just be
I mean,
homeless out there.
yeah. My buddy used to have a joke about that because he said that having a house being homeless in Hawaii is better than having a house in Tucson because he like lived in both places. But yeah, I just can't imagine living in your car when you have well pursuing comedy and you have options like LA.
Yeah.
I know LA has undergone a lot of different things, but it's still fucking Hollywood. It's still one of the premier places. I would say LA's still probably above Austin. I love Austin. I like living here. I'm not going anywhere, but we need to fucking stop with this mecca of comedy shit. I mean, there's the average comedian's been doing comedy 2 fucking years here. Yeah, there's Mothership. Yeah, there's Kill Tony, but just like any scene, it's a bunch of newish people trying to figure it out. Like it's important. I'd say move here if you're trying to pursue it, but let's stop pretending that there's not at least like 5 or 6 scenes that are just have a way deeper history and talent going on.
I mean, there are a couple things that I will say that I do think is better about Austin than LA. It's more affordable for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you can hit more mics in a given time. I think there's more close proximity shows. I think the problem with LA is that everything is very
you have to drive
spread out.
everywhere. I remember taking an Uber. I remember taking an Uber in LA, trying to hit a mic, and I was just like, "Oh,
But I mean, LA is a
it
superior
doesn't start for
city
2 hours."
in general.
Dude, it took us like an hour and a half to drive like 14 miles or something. It was fucking insane. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I barely made it in time. I think I got on the fucking, I got on at the Hollywood Improv somehow. They did this thing where you signed up the day before in person, then they dropped the list, and I somehow got on. I was like, holy shit. And then I thought like I could show up early, like go sightseeing, walk around, and I barely fucking made it in time because I wasn't expecting the insane clogged traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I got a cousin that lives out in LA. That used to be the goal for me. Was I always liked LA the most. Like
Yeah, I
out
almost
of
moved
any
there.
city, that was like always my favorite one just because like dude, fucking like 70 and sunny every single fucking day. That
And I mean,
sounds so
the
nice.
comedy store is there. Some of the best comedians in the world are there. Best weather, hot women, super expensive. So fuck that, I guess. But like,
I mean, the comics in LA are trash though.
I mean-
Not the top ones.
yeah,
Like the top good
that's
comics.
any fucking city. Though,
But
for
yeah,
the most part.
every city has got
There's
dog
so
shit
many
comics.
because when I used to go to LA a lot, like it was sometimes there would be literal homeless people or psychos or weirdo actors that think that the way to break in and make it better in acting is I need to get entertaining on stage and I can get picked up from this agency if I do this open mic or get on at the fucking Flappers. And you see a lot of just true hacks of just the worst magnitude you've ever seen. But then you drop in a place and there'd be like murderers. I'm like, okay, this is next level. Like I would do a random show in LA or just be watching and I'm like, oh, that dude murdered. And then I would talk to him afterward. I've been doing comedy for 16 years and he's used to write for Conan. I was like, okay, this makes fucking sense,
Yeah.
But
I mean, I still think New York is probably
probably the best.
That's the true
But
mecca
if you
of
want
New
to,
York.
yeah, for sure. But now I feel like that with the internet and the reach of social media,
Cities don't matter.
cities don't matter nearly as much. You want to be in a place. That's why I like Austin geographically, because it's surrounded by so much stage time and different gigs. Like tonight, I did a show in San Marcos, hour drive back home, recording a podcast, paid gig, and there's a lot of those sprinkled in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and then you're in Austin, and then if you get online clout, it's not a bad place to be because you can still work on your shit and be an actual comedian without living like in the woods. Because a part of me was like, it'd be cool just to live in the middle of nowhere, but I was like, I need stage time too.
Yeah, I feel like living in the middle of nowhere is cool for like a month, and then I think I would go insane after
For
that.
sure. Yeah, Pauly Shore was not banned from Kill Tony. He was kidding. Pauly Shore released some I guess it's a podcast where he was saying that Tony banned him from Kill Tony. He's clearly doing a bit and fucking kidding, but it got people on Reddit stirred up about it.
Didn't Tyler Fisher get banned from the
Oh
mothership?
fuck
though?
yeah, he did. He got banned apparently for harassing women or being too sexually aggressive toward female customers. And I don't know the guy. I think he's pretty talented and had some funny bits, but
I've opened for him.
You've opened for him?
Yeah, he was nice when I opened for him. I don't have
I have
anything
nothing
bad
wrong to say about
but
it.
I heard he got banned.
Here's what I'll say. Usually, I mean, he could be the exception and I could totally be wrong, but when there's a pattern of like getting banned or just being called out for certain behavior, like he got banned from Fox News. He got banned from several airlines. He got banned from Mothership, cease and desist. And then honestly, I thought that whole podcast tour where he was just like, woe is me. I can't be like a cis white male in Hollywood because they're not. He went on that whole thing where he said he couldn't get work because
Didn't he
he's
go
a
on
straight.
Dr. Phil?
Yes. And I'm just like, even if it is true, shut up and figure it out, dude. This is the lamest shit I've heard in my fucking life. Personally, maybe he is,
Well, as a cis white male, I think
it was just corny.
yeah, no, it is. I get what you're saying.
I was like, I don't know. Other than that, I think he's funny enough.
Yeah, he leans heavy into the right.
He goes way too hard.
I don't like
hate that
any
shit.
fucking. I don't like either side going like deep into like if you're gonna just like constantly make far right like
you want to know who's the
content
worst
is just like insane.
You want to know who's fallen from grace, and he was one of my favorite comedians. Nick DiPaolo has turned into like a fucking just like your lame boomer Fox News watching like 72-year-old uncle who's trying to be edgy at Thanksgiving. That's who Nick DiPaolo, who's one of the GOATs in my opinion, one of the best roasters on Comedy Central roasts. Even his act was brilliant. He was on Tough Crowd.
Shorty's watching Shorties.
Bro, have you listened to his podcast? Like,
No.
he's still funny and he makes me laugh, but he is so fucking conservative, and his whole podcast is nothing but news. And his act, he posts reels, and it's just like there's not even a punchline. It's just him like making a trans joke or just about something about woke this, and I'm just like, bro, this is so fucking lame.
What is the obsession with trans people?
I don't know. I've told trans jokes, and I'll probably tell some more. I don't give a fuck, but like
there's a difference
weirdo
though
obsession.
from like telling a trans joke and then like constantly doing trans bits and like
100%.
constantly like harping and like focusing on it. It's like it's insane to me, dude. It's it's like hack now.
It is.
You know what really sucks is that this city has ruined the word retard for so many.
Oh my god!
It's like retard used to mean something
for sure. And
like
I will say I'm
like,
not like a hero by any stretch, but I never stopped saying it. I said retard when I was 7, and I'll say it till I'm fucking 97.
My father called me retarded when I was a kid. We used to always say retarded.
Yeah. It did hit some weird like 10 years ago. It got kind of weird where it was just like, don't say that on stage. I said this too. I started in 2011. And even though 14 years ago is a long time now that I think about it. If a white comic was clever and said it in the right way, I watched white comics say the N-word and people laugh and no one gave a shit in 2011, 2012. Now, if you even say it and like, this is what somebody told me, boom, you get crucified.
Yeah.
And I'm saying you're an idiot if that's the hill you want to die on, you know. But I had a couple of jokes where, because I do Cat Williams, I used to say it as Cat Williams, and I also have another joke where it's a story about someone.
Oh, really? Me too.
Yeah, there's a story where someone, a black dude says it to me, and I tell the story, and it would murder. But after a few years, it got weirder, and then I would only tell it when the other black dude was in the room. My good friend Glendon, black comic from Compton, who grew up in.
Was he black?
Yeah. No, so the story is like his friend saying it to me. So when Glendon would go on stage and do his act, and then I would like open my set with that story, and Glenn was there to be like, yeah, this happened. Then it would still kill, but if Glenn wasn't there, I couldn't do the joke anymore because people would be like,
You'd have to bring Glenn on the road with
right,
you, but
pretty much.
He's not allowed to open for you, but he just has to verify that this is a factual story.
Right.
He's
yeah.
like, no, this happened.
And I mean, clearly it's a factual story in the context of how I tell it. Like, and then he said this, but it's just like, just merely saying the word would, you know, get people like,
What is the
oh.
chat saying?
Who is Nick DiPaolo? Sal Volcano. Is it funny? Cat Williams knows. Polly Shorga. Nope, we already read that. NYC comedy scene might be the standard for sure.
There's also dog shit in New York, though.
There's
dog shit everywhere.
Dog shit everywhere. It's so hard to be good at comedy too. Like, it's
because here I think so. I sat there when I was trying to figure out where I want to move from Cleveland, the different positives and negatives. New York is definitely, I'd say, has like
so
the
expensive.
funniest comics, but
the most
it's
time.
the most expensive, and comedy is a legitimate pyramid scheme out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay to do open mics, and you have to do bringer shows when you're first starting. Barking, I don't mind. Barking is fine because, like, the way that I justify barking is, like, people are out to spend money anyways, and if you can yell out and you can convince them to come inside, then that's fine.
Because it's I'm just kidding.
Yeah. If you can convince them to come in your asshole, then you won.
Yeah.
But, like, bringer shows, you have to convince your actual like friends and family, like you do a pyramid scheme, to like
it's the worst.
Buy $40 tickets and then spend like another $40 on 2 drink minimum
to watch me do something I have no fucking idea how to do as well. So like anytime you have
5 minutes of it,
anytime you have the friends and family that are going to come and see you, it means you're dog shit at comedy because you have not ruined your life doing comedy long enough to actually get fucking good at it. So when you're like 6 months in, you have a real job, you have friends, family, everyone's excited. Come down to the Chuckle Fuckers and watch me do 7 minutes on an open mic comedy night and this and that. But when you've been doing it for 11 years and the only other people you're friends with are comedians who sure as fuck aren't going to come to your show, but you can't get on the show because you can't bring enough people, but you're the one who's actually good enough to make a fucking audience laugh. So it's a pretty fucked up system, honestly.
Yeah. It's definitely a fucked up system.
I used to invite people out to my shows when I was like within the first year, and I'm just like, that's like humiliating when I think back to it. And like, yeah, sometimes I would get laughs, and it wasn't like the worst thing of all time, but like that's pretty tough to like invite someone to watch you do comedy when you've been doing it less than a year.
My first show, I did that. My very first show.
A lot of people did that.
It was like amateur night at the Funny Stuff. I invited everybody that I fucking knew. And I was doing this. Jesselnick was like my favorite comic. He's still one of my favorites. But he was like my inspiration to get in. And I was very dry, and I didn't talk like I normally talked. And I was just trying to say the most fucked up shit that I possibly could.
Yeah.
I was wearing like a Cosby sweater too.
Oh my God! Like for like character's sake.
No, I still have the sweater. I had it was like a knockoff Coogee sweater.
Oh my God. I told you I met Jesselnick, right?
No.
At Doug Stanhope's house circa like 2018. He hosted and brought me on stage in Stanhope's backyard, which was pretty fucking crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I forget who. It was mostly just...
Is he a nice person?
He was super cool to me. He was like... he was being sarcastically like mean to the other comics on stage. Like this next comedian, what did he say? He's like has the honor of me bringing him up or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then he would say like funny, sarcastic, like I'm too good to fucking be here type of sentiments and just riffing. But he was super cool to me off stage. We didn't like hang out, but he asked how long I've been doing it, where I'm from, told me wishes me luck, good set, all that. He was super cool.
Yeah, dude. I think that he's definitely one of the strongest writers.
I
Like,
agree with a lot of what he says too.
yeah,
Like in the current climate. Some of it I don't, but like I like how I can tell he's like kind of like a lefty, like lib, but he's a comedian before any of that,
yeah.
which I fucking love.
I agree with like the
Like he's
sentiment of
not
like
like
you.
Mark Maron pisses me off. Mark Maron's annoying.
Mark
Not
Maron's snooty.
Yeah,
He's a cunt, dude.
for sure.
He loves the like. He thinks he's so goddamn smart,
Yeah.
and he's just so much better than everyone else.
Laughs
It's
fucking hates him in Tucson too. So Laughs in Tucson started in Albuquerque, where Mark Maron started comedy. You can verify that. I guess supposedly his first paid gig ever was in like 1986 at the Laughs in Albuquerque, and apparently like Mark Maron refuses to say that's where he started and has shitted on them on certain podcasts, and the owner fucking hates him because of it. I'm just like, who cares? Some shit that happened in the 80s you're mad about? Like,
dude. People remember that shit,
oh yeah.
especially comedy club owners.
Dude, comedy club owners are some of the weirdest people ever. They're either failed comedians or just like dickhead businessmen. You know?
Yeah.
There's like rarely just like a guy who's just like, I just like comedy, and it's always it's one of those two, man. I'm sure there's some exceptions, and even the ones that were if they're comics, a lot of the times they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like they use the room so like they can try to propel themselves into a career, but it's like you're just like the lunatic that features every fucking show.
Dude, there's this one club in Columbus where they had to get rid of the owner because
Oh
he
my
would
God.
ruin the show. He would literally and like it sucks because I think he's like got something wrong with him mentally, but he
Oh
was
my
also a
God.
drunk. And this club, the Attic would have like Dave Chappelle would drop in, and because he lives over in Yellow Springs, like really close, and like it's a really cool room. It's a great room. It's small, like little kill box, probably like 50 to 70 seats or something.
I love those kind of rooms.
And this guy who owned the place, he would just go up there, drunkenly rant, and it would just like, and he would be like the third comic to go up, and it would just kill the room, and then you'd have to like completely reset
Oh
it when you get
God.
up there.
Oh my God. Yeah, there was a guy in I've talked about him on this podcast. Stand Up Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona, circa 2012 to 2016, I think is when it finally folded. And the owner was a comic, and he was actually people he had so many enemies that every comic, when the comic doesn't like someone, he's not even funny. I actually think he was funny, but he just pissed off a lot of comics because he didn't like, if you just even did any type of like structured material, he kind of saw you as a hack. He loved people that went up there and just like riffed and were like, looking back, he wasn't entirely wrong. Like he used to like shit on me too, but I would host there all the time because I'd be one of the only comics to show up, and he would have no host. And he would feature every fucking show. And at the end of the show, after the headliner would go up, he'd go back on stage for another 20 minutes and just shit on all the other clubs in Phoenix. And it would get wild, bro. And he had comics before they blew up. Like he had circa 2014, he had Andrew Schultz, he had Tom Segura, he had all these guys that were just like kind of headlining, but they were not what they became. So he had a good eye for like figuring out people that eventually made it. But do you know who Chris Porter is?
I think so. Yeah. He's got like glasses and stuff, right?
No, yeah, he might wear glasses. He was like winner of Last Comic Standing way early on, or a finalist or something. He's headlining, and Howard is on stage after the show should have ended like 30 minutes ago, and he's on stage just like arguing with like a heckler, and then Chris Porter goes behind him. Oh no, Howard takes his shirt off, and the guy in the crowd takes his shirt off, and they're like going to challenge each other to a fight. Chris Porter goes behind Howard, takes his shirt off, and is doing bodybuilding poses, and the crowd is going nuts, cheering and like yelling. And Howard doesn't know that Chris is behind him, so he's just like, "Yeah, everyone's on my side." And it takes him like a minute to finally turn around, and it was one of the funniest things I've fucking seen in my life. And he'd be doing this every show. I mean, not to that extreme, but he would always be pretty much blackout drunk and do that every show. It was madness.
I feel like there's people that definitely like go back to the club for that. You know?
Oh, he had his fans for sure. He had he headlined a weekend one time, and I was just like, "You're headlining a weekend of your own fucking club? That's crazy." Do you know who Lynn Koplitz is?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she tore him. Godfrey ripped him apart one night too. Like, there's so many fucking stories of headliners freaking out and flipping out on him for doing too much time and being drunk and being a maniac. Lynn Koplitz one time spent half her set just calling him the worst person in the world. And then like 8 months later, she was back headlining it. He loved it. He liked shit like that. He's like, yeah, she was being real. But I was like, she called you a piece of shit, unfunny douchebag who everyone hates. Like, it was crazy, dude.
But that's what he loves.
Yeah, dude, he loved that shit. You should have stats on probability of making in comedy.
They're very low.
They're very low.
Terribly low.
Yeah, that's like stats on cryptocurrency or something. It's just like, if you didn't get on the Bitcoin train back in, actually Bitcoin is way down right now, like insanely low. So maybe buy right now. Actually, what the fuck do I know?
I don't think it's insanely low. It's probably like around 90,000 or something.
That's
or 100.
crazy. It was up to like 126 though, so it's like it's kind of collapsed lately.
It's not a complete collapse, but yeah, it's
I'm
definitely
just saying,
lower. I mean, fuck, dude. I think it was like a year ago was 50,000. So I mean, that would still almost double.
for sure. My cat is like walking over all the cords right now. Nuna is back in action. She's friendly. Yeah, she's cool. She's the one that's cost me fucking basically a whole month's rent worth of vet bills. Yeah, you got any shows coming up though?
New faces at Roscoe's.
I don't under why do clubs.
11,
This is no knock
on the 22nd.
I like Roscoe's, not a knock on them. It's just like there's this thing in comedy where they have something called new faces. And then you see like a 47-year-old, like 22-year veteran on the show. It's like, well, how's that a new face?
I think I don't know.
Unless
think it's new faces to Austin. I'm hoping.
I saw that too. And there's comics that are on the show that have been doing comedy in Austin for 10 years, and they're on New Faces of Austin. So I think it's just a fucking name.
It's
fine.
It's a name in marketing. Either way, I'm on it, and they booked me. So if you're in Austin and you're listening to this, come out.
Come to Roscoe's.
If you're not in Austin and you're listening to this, buy a plane ticket and watch me do 5 minutes at Roscoe's.
Oh my god! Let me ask you this before I leave. What's the worst show that you can remember that you've done?
Worst show, and it will stick in my head forever. Is I was at Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
So I just got fired from my job. I got fired from a mortgage company because I made I did a joke on stage that I clipped and I put, and I didn't say the name of the company, but I was shitting on the company in the joke because basically I called my CEO a moron because do you know who Bernie Kosar is?
Yes.
Okay, if you know, so he's like an old Browns quarterback from the late 80s, early 90s, and there was this documentary called ESPN's 30 for 30 Broke, which was a documentary about
I've seen that.
Like how all athletes declare bankruptcy, and one of the main characters in it was Bernie Kosar.
Yes.
So this was right as soon as Deshaun Watson's like jack off, thing, like all the
massage parlor shit.
Yeah. So I was saying that I'm not going to say the name of my company, but I will say this: they put Bernie Kosar in all their commercials, and I was like, yeah, my moron of a CEO was like, yeah, we should put Bernie Kosar in all of our commercials. I was like, you know how ridiculous it is a financial institution would choose a guy who declared $1.5 million in bankruptcy? That would be like if OJ, if Ford called up OJ and was like, hey, we got the new Bronco. And then I was like, and then if nobody laughed at that, I would be like, is that too old of a reference? It would be like if Deshaun Watson or if Massage Envy called up Deshaun Watson. I'm butchering my own joke.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got fired from a job because I did that. And then I had to go to, so me and my buddy Jason Moliterno, he was getting booked from this like this booker in New York that would book these breweries and wineries around the country. So he was like, "Hey, I've got a run of shows. It's like 5 or 6 shows, all like southeast." So we went to like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and just like did like a little loop and came back around.
Yeah.
And the worst show ever was definitely Myrtle Beach. There's probably like 50 people there. Youngest person had to maybe be 70 years old.
Oh my
And
God.
I ate shit. 2-man show. I ate shit for 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
40 minutes of just like no laughter. I'm trying everything. I'm talking about Myrtle Beach. I'm trying my actual material. And it got to the point where like the booker, I guess, contacted us because somebody reviewed the comedy show on whatever website they bought the tickets from. It was like, I can't even believe that you would call this comedy worst show I've ever been
my
to.
God.
And it was just silence, absolute silence, no heckling, no anything. It was just like all fucking 75-year-old white people that wanted nothing to do with
That
us.
sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I've bombed like pretty fucking hard. I mean, I've done shows before where I'm just like, those people in the crowd think I'm the worst comedian in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like where they've watched you do so bad, you're like that. They think that I'm so fucking bad at this, and they don't chalk it up to a bad show. Like they think that I'm the worst thing ever. Like, you know what I mean? And good, they have every right to, because in their experience of watching me, that's what just happened.
It was so funny because at the beginning of like this little tour thing, we had like a really good show. And I was like, man, I think that I can do this. I think I could do this for a living, you know?
Yeah,
And by the end of it, I was like, I think I'm a terrible comic and I need to completely rewrite my entire like set. I was
my
it's like I'm a
God.
fucking hack and I hate everything that I wrote. It was like we had like one good show and then just like 4 or 5 just nightmare shows.
Yeah. I've talked about this before. The only time have you ever showed up at a show and then like left and didn't do your set?
No.
I've done it one time, and this was year 1 in comedy. I might have been doing comedy a year or like under a year.
I will take that back. I've done it at a mic before, where it's like if I sign up,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm like
fine.
40th, but I've never been like booked or been on a show
Yeah.
where I walk out. But go ahead, sorry
So-
to cut you off.
No, you're good. It was in Marana, Arizona. I forget what it was. It was some like little festival thing where there's a bunch of vendors and shit. And me and my buddy Glendon, who I told you about, we showed up. Marana was far from where we live. We had to drive like fucking an hour to get out there. And he's like, we're doing comedy in the tent. We go to the tent. You know, there's no one in there. And then he's like, yeah, we'll be starting soon. And there was like a petting zoo, like another tent that's just like 50 feet away. And you know, like that orange, like construction, like separator shit, where it almost looks like a net that, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
So there's that's trying to keep like goats and sheep from keeping them contained. They like break loose. So he's like, oh, we're about to start the show. And he goes, oh shit, the fucking animals. So we run around and we're having to corral these animals in. And it takes like 10 fucking minutes. I'm trying to like juke this fucking sheep, like going left to right and shit. We finally get them in, put up the barricade. We go back. He's like, all right, now we're going to start the comedy show. And then he goes, oh shit, we look, and then running again. And the promoter of the show runs to go get the sheep again. Me and Glenn look at each other and go, let's get the fuck out of here. And we left and we went to the car and fucking drove away, dude. I was just like, I'm not doing this shit. And then, not that funny, that guy who was running that show died like 2 weeks later. He died of a heart attack. And I don't know, just that whole memory of just that time in comedy was fucking crazy.
I was hoping that you were gonna say like a sheep ran into him.
Oh,
Or something, like, rammed
I
him.
was the last comic to bring him on stage because I hosted the open mic at the club, and I brought him on stage, and then yeah, he like had a heart attack and died in a fucking elevator a week later. And I was just like, I remember his name, Patrick. What was the last? Patrick something, but yeah, fucking insane.
Speaking of people dying, I know we got to wrap it up. I think dude, I had like an existential moment earlier this year. So there was like this comic that I don't remember his name, but so Ohio and Michigan are right next to each other, and
Mhm.
supposedly like he was in the car driving either to a Michigan show or from a Michigan show and died in a car
Oh
accident.
God.
And it was like a younger comic, only been doing it for like 2 years. And I just had this existential crisis thinking about it, just like, could I think of a sadder death than going and like dying in a car accident, driving to go do like a show you're probably gonna get like $10
Oh
for?
God.
Just it's
Um,
just like the worst way to fucking die. And then everyone's like, oh, he, like dying doing what he loved or whatever. But it's just like that's how fucked up comedy can be. It's just like that misery of just like, yeah, you're gonna go do 15 minutes for $10 for nobody at this bar, and then just like
yeah.
end up
I
underneath
hope
a
if
semi.
I hope if I die in a car accident, it's after I got paid like $100 to do like a fire brewery show. They're like, it ain't too bad. But if I die like going to like fucking Narbar or something, like that's fucking sad.
You're you just like leaving Narbar. You get in your car and you just fucking get just crashed, hit by a drunk driver.
Dude, working Maggie's late at night, sometimes I leave at like 3:30 in the morning. I've seen some insane shit. Like where I saw one person literally like they came so close to just driving like off like the bridge, um like the interstate right there. They like fishtail, they like swerved, they almost spun out, and then they stopped like maybe like 2 feet from fucking plunging over, and then stopped there for a second and then continued to drive. I was like, you're just a drunk idiot. There's no traffic right now, and you're just like. So a comic in Dallas like 3 months ago got killed by a drunk driver in front of other comics. They were walking back from a show in Dallas, and a dude ran off the road and just fucking clobbered him, died.
No shit.
Yes. So like walking home at night, because to avoid paying for parking like late at night because I know the spots to park during the week, but except for Monday when I got a fucking ticket parking for Kill Tony. But I already ranted about that in the intro. But yeah, I walk like 15 minutes to my car at night at 3:30 in the morning. So I walk by just like all like the half dead homeless people cleaning the bars, weirdo drunks. A dude like I thought this dude was following me the other week, and I was just like, what? Because he made like 3 turns, and I was just like, and then I stopped. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like if this dude's gonna follow me, so I kind of stopped and started looking at my phone to let him know that I knew, and then he kind of went away. But I was just like, it's kind of weird, kind of creepy out here,
Yeah.
you know.
It's definitely this city feels like it kind of feels like hell. Like a rendition of hell. Like 6th Street when it's at its like peak is just like, it reminds me of, do you remember like the Avenged Sevenfold? I forget what the song was, but it was like based off of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what 6th Street reminds me of.
Dude. Yeah,
What
dude,
the fuck is the name of that song?
I don't remember.
This is great podcasting.
Fuck yeah.
What's the name of that song?
Dude, have you seen the aerobics homeless guy? There's a guy.
No, but I got to see Diaper Lady for the first time.
Oh, Diaper Lady. She's famous as fuck, dude.
I've heard nothing but like I heard about Diaper Lady,
They
and then
just-
I was barking
she's
and
just
I
allowed.
saw her.
She's just allowed to be naked, basically. But there's this dude who does like burpees and jumping jacks and suicide runs, and he does like, but he's completely like cooked. I don't know like if what he's on, and he smells so bad. He's running back and forth, just stinking up the street and shit. But here, have you ever seen the movie Day of the Dead?
Mm.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
So it's a zombie movie. It's a George A. Romero. It's like the third movie of the Night of the Living Dead trilogy. And there's a mad scientist in it who's trying to make zombies remembered. He's trying to like negotiate with them and get them. So he does a series of tests, and like there's a main zombie who kind of starts to remember things. So he puts like tools in front of them, gives them headphones, and he's like, if I get them to remember, I can get them to stop eating us. So like there's zombies that are kind of remembering their old life in just weird ways. I was like, he reminds me of a fucking zombie that used to be an aerobics instructor who still kind of remembers.
Dude, the homeless people are ripped down here.
Oh yeah, they're jacked as fuck. Yeah,
I don't know what the
homeless
fuck is in
abs.
the fentanyl, but they must be cutting like fentanyl with steroids.
Yeah, I used to do a joke about that too, like a few years ago when I first moved here. About there was a dude who looked like Terrell Owens. He looked like Michael B. Jordan, and I'm just like, bro, what what's your workout routine? He just hissed at me and just started chasing me, and I was like, okay, let's checks out. Yeah, there's a few of them that you see where it's just like, yeah, you have like no body fat, but you're kind of muscular too. Like it's kind of wild. But yeah, I think we've reached the end of this. Hit him with an hour 15. Anything you want to plug? Where can people find you?
Just like all social media is just at Miki Janosi, Mikijanosi, and now I mean I'll post clips and stuff. Come hang out in Austin. I'll probably be doing a show somewhere, and follow me on all social media. That's about it.
Fuck yeah. So that is it. So until next time, kiddies, stay safe, stay healthy, don't be a bitch, and stay up.